Well, good morning. I'm not really getting anywhere with my trying to get the young people of this country to go out and march against Trump because they think they have to. They're basically saying they don't want to march for Biden, and I understand that. I really do. But instead of marching for Biden or against Trump, whichever way you want to put it, how about we go out and we march for women, huh? I mean, women went through the suffrage movement. I'm not sure of the years. I don't want to insult them by giving the wrong years out. But anyhow, they went through hell for the right to vote. Okay, and I think that if they keep pushing women the way they are, taking away their rights and trying to demean them and put them back in the kitchen, barefoot in the kitchen, and just getting pregnant, pushing out kids, hopefully little Republicans. I think it's time that we stood up for them. I'm not. I mean, guys, come on. Most men are nothing without a woman supporting them. You know, uh, they need that person by their side. Now, everybody says, well, it's got to be the wife, and Trump. Look at Trump. He doesn't need a woman by his side. Melania is hiding because I think Melania has been an abused woman, and I think he has something that keeps her around. And they both have something on each other, kind of deal. I don't think there's any love there. I'm not sure there ever was. Lust maybe on Trump's part, but who knows? It's not something I'm really interested in figuring out. What I'd like to see is, you know, abortion's a strong issue. Now, abortion isn't okay. I made a mistake. I'm going to get rid of this kid. Most of these women, they sit down and they talk to a psychologist first before it's done, and it's not something that they just jump at. Most of them it's because they understand that they're not in love with this man and they don't want uh, a lot of things. They don't want a lot of bad things happening. They don't want the child to suffer. In some cases, it's just that they don't want kids, and they want to, just be free to do whatever they want to do. Um, Guys liked it because it was a way for them to be able to get out from under child support. Um, and my thing was, if you're gonna play, you gotta pay. And I've been fortunate. I never had to pay. But that doesn't mean there might be a child out there related to me because not because I raped some women or not because the woman wanted nothing to do with nothing to do with me because they know I didn't really want kids. I like kids. We have them around the house, the apartment we live in. They all like me. They all like Lucy, and they all come up to Lucy. And I enjoy talking to children. I'm very careful about it because of the perception. You know, I don't want to be accused of being a dirty old man, not by a 12-year-old. By a 30-year-old, that's okay. Um, but I mean, there's so many great women out there. Look at my nieces. I told you about my nieces. They're outstanding ladies, in politics and not so much in politics, but They are involved. I mean, they are. They do contribute. They do protest. They work for our. They worked for major companies. They were both business executives, held in high esteem by their colleagues, male colleagues. I uh, I think submissive woman is you know that's a ridiculous statement. I mean, why bother? Why bother being married? Because the marriage means you project the male projects stability, and then it's more of a marriage of convenience than it is a marriage of lust and desire. Even if there's sex involved in it, children involved in it, it's still, you know, sometimes men look for the woman because I did this when I worked for Chrysler Corporation. I almost got married because I thought it would be better for me to be married and single, working in the finance world. I decided I didn't want the finance world. I didn't want the woman, and I didn't want the finance world. So it worked out well for me there. Um, I just think that supporting women or telling women that they can't control their own bodies, that they can't have certain rights, that they don't want them. There are people out there, and I've heard them speak, and they're in the Congress, that they would be happy if women didn't have a vote, that they think that's one of the worst things that ever happened to America. And I gotta tell you something. That's probably some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. All right. Um, you want a complimentary couple that has none of these scandals, none of this garbage going on. Look at the Obamas, okay? There no scandals in their life. They were happily married. I'm assuming they're still happily married because I've never heard a bad word about them. If they're not happily married, they got some of the they have some of the best PR people in the world. Uh, but to say to a woman you can't in the restaurant industry, which I have a lot of experience in, I spent a lot of time working in the restaurant industry, and to sit there and say that you can't be a chef if you're a woman. Why not? What's the difference? You know, you can't be a professional chef. You don't get accepted as rapidly as men do because it's sort of a man's industry. But who the hell cooks in the house all the time? Usually the wife cooks in the house. Now, if she's allowed to cook your meals there, she should be allowed to use that talent to cook for a living. Why not? You know, um, my experience with them is been very limited. I see them mostly as like the women in the restaurant industry. I've never worked with a woman chef. Uh, I don't think we ever had any women in any of the kitchens I ever worked in, and I think that's stupid. You know, now it's hard work, restaurant industry. Is it too hard for a woman? I don't think so. I watched Top Chef, and I've seen some of the women chefs that have been on there, and they're outstanding. There's a couple of them that have won and have been outstanding that I wouldn't allow to cook me to boil water for coffee for me, only because I hate their personalities suck. But that's the same thing with men. I mean, there's guys on that show I would never want working for me or serving me in any capacity. But it's an industry where women have been making advances, and I think they deserve the opportunity because I think they're extremely talented. And not just as pastry chefs, because pastry chefs are artistic, and most pastry chefs that I've met are women. But that's a hard. If you're professionally trained and you do the French training and everything as a pastry chef, that you could cook and do anything you want anywhere in the world. It's the toughest kitchen training in the world. But in politics, I've seen them good and I've seen them bad. But I've seen men good and bad. What's the difference? You know. I think in the Congress, one of the reasons that I want Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Bobbitt out of there, and I'm not that fond of AOC. I don't know her whole name, but that's how I call it. They call her AOC, so I'll call her AOC because I think they're setting a bad example for young women. that want to go into politics or the legal profession or just you know career wise. I just don't think they're good examples, especially Marjorie Taylor Greene, because I think she's off the I think she's an example that they use when they don't want women involved in things. You know, I live in a. I'm surprised that Mexico elected a female president. That culture of machismo doesn't really. No, I don't know. It doesn't seem to go well with that. But hey, I don't know much about her. I don't. If she can run the country and get the country organized and get the country straightened out a little bit, who cares? You know. As I said before, I think what I've read about and what I know, very little I know about Michelle Obama, I think she'd make a great Supreme Court justice. Uh, I don't think she wants to be president. I think if she had run for president after her husband resigned, term was up, she had run against Trump. I think she would have destroyed Trump. But I don't know whether Trump still might have gotten elected because you've got these. It's a different issue with him, you know. It's now he's bringing the female issue into it, and I think that'll be his downfall. But you'd be surprised, you know. When you talk about the amount of people that want segregation brought back, the white nationalism in America, there's just as much machismo and anti-feminism rhetoric going around as well. So I think it's if you have a chance to support a woman, support a woman. If you're married, hey, kiss your wife because she's the best. She'll be there. They're like puppy dogs. A lot of them, you can be nasty to them and they'll still support you. It's not what I recommend though. I recommend a sharing relationship. It's a little healthier. All right, let's see. That's it. I'm done for this day. I don't think I'll be back. There's nothing going on. Trump's basically in hiding right now. I don't know what's going on with him. Politics seems to be slowing down. I guess they're getting ready for the big election push coming up. But anyhow, you have a nice day. Like if something spectacular happens, I'll try to get back. Or it depends. Like with the verdict, I had to wait to see what was going to happen before I came out and said anything. But we'll see. All right. Have a great day.